Hello, dear friends, and welcome to another exciting episode of Life of Love. We are here to explore with curiosity and an open heart and improve our lives through meeting people of open-heartedness and curiosity and sharing their message. So today is a very special day because we get a chance to meet Michaell Magrutsche. And he is a multimedia artist. And he is an explorer of his world, and he has a unique history, which he's going to share, which made him a little more, and I'm not comparing anybody, but it's made him have a unique lens in our world. And he's able to shine light on things that we might not understand, could be affecting us, could be holding us down, or things that could be helping. So he has a lens that I'm excited to look through and explore with him. He has his own podcast, which is amazing. You should check it out. It's short, 30 seconds, and he gives you thinking points to get your mind working, and it's really intriguing. So I encourage you to check out his podcast. So he's right in my wheelhouse. So you can tell I'm excited to talk to him. Welcome, Michaell, to the show. I'm so happy you're here.
Thanks, Julia. I'm a pleasure to talk to you, and thank you for the canvas you give me to paint. So
yes, I create this container, and we fill it with all the goodies that come to us. So it's always an adventure. I appreciate that you see that. So tell us, the audience, what about your upbringing made you so unique? I would like for them to get a glimpse into your story and what led you to the U.S.
Okay. So let me preamble that everybody is unique. We are 8 billion people, and everyone is a one of a one. Everybody with a different life story, different perspective, different experiences, different burdens that they have to carry, different pleasures. We are all different. It's just I'm neurodiverse, and I didn't know that. So I was born in Vienna, Austria. I got as a sick child. I had a sick child. I was sick all the time. So by 7, I went to school. They helped me back, get me at 7, and it was completely the wall. I hit the wall full blast. Couldn't read, couldn't speak. Couldn't regurgitate anything. I repeat in Europe. You have to repeat grades. I had to repeat 2 or 3 grades till I couldn't anymore. So whatever that was, 2 or 3, I couldn't repeat it anymore. Had tutors, had everything, and it couldn't get me through the things. So basically, I got a job and discovered art creation. Music was my forte. I was, musician, DJ, sold tape out of my trunk, was a fashion show producer, was in advertising. And by 30, I looked at my resume, said I needed to do a new job, and it was all art related. And I thought, I can't wait till society or a system deems me as an artist and says, okay, whatever you create is the best or not. I just had to deem myself as, because I couldn't have been a mathematician or an accountant or whatever. I couldn't do anything. And I had asthma and analysis, so I couldn't do a physical job like a firefighter or anything. So when I realized that and made that decision, it's amazing when you make decisions for yourself. It says, I'm not perfect, but I am what I am. I think that is so important, and then you try to be the best that you can for who you are. So if you're the janitor as a job, a systemic job, you're the best janitor that you can be. That doesn't mean everything has to be spick and span. You can be that, then you'll be the best janitor. You'll be the best, whatever you are, teacher or whatever. And what you are, it's not comparison with anything. It's what you got. One person, the problems come when you try to when you try to become what system is requesting from you. When you become a teacher that the systems require you to be, that you have to give up all your passion for teaching and have to adapt to this system. And I saw, and my luck, actually, now I see it as a luck. I thought it till 50. I thought, that's it. I'm done, And then it woke up. You usually with 50, 55, you wake up. It's like the soul double where you look at your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know that from your clients probably. 50, 55, all women, the kids are gone and they feel like in a hole and they don't know what to do. They said, now I have to try to do what I always wanted. And you feel it's too late systemically. It's never too late. A year before, I rather wake up. I told my friend always, she says, no, I'm 80 years. I shouldn't learn computer. I said, if it interests you, it's never too late. Even if you have a year to live, it will make that year so much better. So it's never too late. So you gotta, because you gotta get in touch with fulfillment. And if you like to have a passion for computers, and that interaction gives you fulfillment, that's the base for happiness, and that's the base for love. It's a feedback loop. It's not the computer made me happy. No. Nothing makes you happy but you. So that's why I chase fulfillment, basically, and fulfillment is a lot in the arts. So it taught me everything, creating art, not at an art piece, but creating art.
I know you touch on that, and it resonates with me so much when you say, accept who you are and show up as your best self, with that idea that it's not perfect. It's a gooey imperfection. And you were talking about mistakes in podcasts. Those mistakes make us enduring. Those mistakes show that we're human, that it's okay to not be perfect and to shine the way you want to shine. I don't think it's too much of a coincidence, but my last guest talked about our unique energy profile. Each person has a unique energy profile. So it's fun how the synchronicities come together. And I have a lot of questions I wanted to ask you, because I'm just really happy to pick your brain. And when you're talking about how you have an ability to see hidden contexts and
so the
paradox.
The neurodiversity forced me, because if you're systemic, then say, okay, you come to these systems, this is what you have to do, 1, 2, 3. I didn't have that. So I could lean on humanity and knowing people. I was, and I had to be good with people to interact with people. And so my focus was basically on my 6 senses to dance like we're doing right now, to dance with another human being, That was one thing. And there's a trick that I wanted to mention before, because when you listen to think, yeah, but he wouldn't fit in. I fit in, and so I don't know how to get to that. Just look at nature. In nature, there is not a million elephants more, and then nature says, now I have to kill all those because I did too many. There's no surplus. It's always enough. That's why I say enough is so important in systems, but there is never enough. So the reason why, and nature is proven by science, by systems, that it never makes mistakes. So people that thought the earth was flat before, and all this stuff that people said and forced people, you were a witch or a wizard if you didn't believe that this and this happened. Nature is always right. And even in vaccines and all this stuff, we are not better than nature. We don't know better than nature. When we create an environment where nature, for example, you put animals in inhumane environments, when their viruses jump and says, they can't survive anymore. They have so much stress. They are close to, not existing anymore. I need to jump to somebody, and viruses adapt and they jump on us. It's the ignorance to say, and because we talked about the lack, to say we need to make money right now. We need to make money right now. We need to make money right now to survive. So everybody's in a survival instinct. And the problem is, let's say you only have 3 people. You have Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump, all 3. Okay. And
Okay.
these 3, and they have all the money. They have all the power, all the money. Number one, the power isn't worth anything because they can just power each other. And if the rest of the world is in just survival mode, just by, 60% already there, 60% of Americans live paycheck by paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
If everybody feels poverty, if everybody feels lack, they feel the lack too. We are all in this together. As much as this is a jargon and a buzzword, we can't get out. So if I look for my happiness and everybody else is unhappy, I can't make myself happy, even if I don't know about the other people suffering. It's the hooligan, the swarm behavior that we have. So you go into a rugby match and the accountant that does everything correctly, always never makes anything bad, grabs a beer bottle and hits somebody over the head. They show him the video now afterwards, and he says, I can't believe that I see it's me, but I can't believe it's me. I would never do this. I said, you have no chance. The masses, when masses go on, that's what's happening. So we are all in this together. So we have to talk to each other.
The collective consciousness is what I
Yeah.
hear you saying, or even if you try to separate from it or say them and us, there's no then. That's my biggest thing I write about in my book is this idea that we're divided, that you have to pick a side, that you're, it's an illusion. It's something that's been placed on us to control us, to whatever the person who was in charge thought that they needed to push. That division was created for some reason to gain whatever they wanted. And I appreciate how you're saying how nature doesn't make mistakes, and that's just, I just want to shout that from the rooftop. I want to put that on every billboard because there's so many, especially children, who are confused and they think that they're broken and they need this like or this social media or this surgery for their body to feel whole. And it just breaks my heart because at some level they think that they're not enough. And that's the basis for a lot of misery. And if there's one thing that I could, just, if I could wave a magic wand right now, it would be, I want everyone to know that they're perfect.
Yeah, but
And
from nature, not from logic. Logic, you can say that and we feel your love and everything. It's not, it's a completely logical thing. When you are existing by nature, we are part of nature. So it needs to be clear to us, we are collaborative creator animal of nature, which we are part of. Meaning we are in between system relevance. That's what we are, creator animals. So we can create our habitats called systems, religion, politics, states, governments, all that stuff. We can create it on this planet too, next to nature. We are in the middle between nature, between systems and nature. And we balance in between. But we forgetting the moment it gets a problem is when we forget we are systems. We're not in the systems. No system has ever given birth to a human unless they do some wacky stuff. But nature is where we come from. And that's why we can't save nature either. We can't save nature. We are part of it. Nature, if we destroy ourselves, nature just keeps going on. There's so many civilizations that are outdone, and we kill each other over and over and over, and it keeps on till we learn, till we get awareness. Because it's hard for a creator animal. I understand the challenge for a creator animal is you create something beautiful, an artist, right? And then you get shiny object syndrome. You think that that gives established my worth. No, you just let that through. It's just coming through you. I feel we all valves, right? And there's the consciousness that comes through, and some valve spreads wide, some valve spreads narrow, and some has a problem with the thing. It's sick, it doesn't think. But we are all valves that allow this in. and then change happens. And nobody knows what comes through. And that's why we have pandemics, that we have wars. Wars is the completely, I would say, completely failure, the proof of failure when humans go all system relevant. Because it's in no human to have wars. Unless you are disturbed, as a disturbed system leader that believes that through wars he's safe. Which war hero is safe? Hitler wasn't safe. Nobody. They weren't safe. Mussolini wasn't safe. All these super safety has nothing to do if you do a war or not. So, and since no human that I know wants war, even the people have been in war, they said we never wanted it. Never. We hated them. We hated the other party, but we never wanted war.
So, from your perspective, are those wars created by something unhuman?
No, it's system relevant stuff. That's a reset. It's like in nature, you don't go to the edge. In nature, is always balance. Balance is the main, but that doesn't exist. I told you the enoughness isn't a value in systems. It's always more, better, faster, cheaper, which is insane too. More, better, faster, and then cheaper defeats the more, better, faster. Because there's no revenue. So when you go really by financial principles, they are flawed. But since we are the gods of systems, we can just change him.
And that was a huge message that I wanted you to share, was that awareness. Once you have awareness, you can decide if the system is working, if you want to consent, because it's all about consent. And I've often felt like that. I'm like, why do people go to war? Why do they fight? Like, how do they get these people to fight? Because I can go mama bear on somebody to protect my child out of love. But as far as like protecting something that is a system, I don't think I could go there unless it was a system of caring for humanity and the planet. So I don't know, maybe it's a value that you feel like the values are there, that it's worth fighting for. The psychology of war to me is really tricky. And even like, you watch different movies or like a gangster movie, and the thugs will be beating up somebody, like, cutting their ear off or whatever they're doing. I'm like, how do they pay somebody enough that they could do something like that? Because, I think that actually has happened in gangsters. It's in our collective consciousness. And I often wonder, like, why don't they just turn and run? Or why do they get into a gunfight? Why don't they just turn around and run? Because there's no way they're paying them enough for their life. So I often question systems, and I have to share.
Constructs. So we had too much in our minds.
Mm-hmm.
So a war is because soldiers and artists are very similar. The soldiers are here for the tribe. They're the strongest people. They say woman or man, because woman and man is also a system division. That's a segregation. In nature, nobody cares of woman or man except this is mating season.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares about woman or man. Nobody cares about the giraffe is taller than the zebra, and that's why it's better. Nobody cares. That's a systemic mind construct. And systemic mind construct work with reward, with promised reward, never holding it, never keeping it. Where they can't even keep the retirement systems. The retirement systems all over the world have this is one, if you'd be a politician and you get into politics, the biggest thing is how do I have social security? The biggest thing to conquer. And that's why some people even conquer wars and kill people and do stuff, because it is one system advantage for and the other. So that's why the pandemic was such a misunderstanding, because it could have led to so many system advantages. And it didn't, because it totally backfired. People don't want to go back to work. And so the whole thing backfired. And that's what systems don't see. System leaders that initiate things like that, or
Mm-hmm.
groups to pay their house that costs not like us $5,000, but costs like $100 million a month. And everybody's in that lag. And if we are not collectively pulling out of it, we're going to just eat each other up. The doggy dog eats world, because everybody, these animals that bite off their paw because they're in a trap, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
what we are. That's the state of what we are. So it's not a human experience that kids have. For example, kids, because your son, it's not an experience where humans are humans. Yeah, they make mistakes. They're not perfect, whatever. They make mistakes, but we are not humane anymore because of the mind construct of lack and scarcity that we have conditioned ourselves. There's nobody's to blame, nobody's fault. Yeah, not this party or that, or this religion or that. We just have to we have conditioned ourselves, and that is the problem that I see. And if you can look at your life and say, what am I giving priority? My human-centric life, that I'm part of nature, or my system relevant life, that I'm a great bookkeeper, CEO. And then I say CEO, and it always comes to me. The CEOs is funny. They work in a corner office, white collar, suit, tie, all the money. What do they do on the weekends? They have all the money. They could have just taken a mechanic and say, fix my car. What they do, they go in the garage and fixing on their car. They go in the garden and do, because we humans get crazy if we are not tactile.
Mm-hmm.
We need to touch, we need to grab. That's experience humanity. And we don't do this anymore. We grab the keyboard. That is. Yeah. And me included. I'm not excluding myself. I'm just saying I'm aware, and I'm on the way of more awareness. And awareness is what you need, that your life gets relaxed, because with knowledge, it will never, because knowledge is system knowledge. You learn about the fax machine, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, you can't use a fax machine
It's
anymore.
done.
All the knowledge, you're an expert in fax machine. Wonderful. You're outdated. You're outdated like a cog on a wheel. And that's when your system relevant is outdated as fast as systems work. And systems get always faster because they need more and more and more, faster, quicker. So and if we need to pull ourselves out to stop it, enough needs to be implemented in systems. There needs to be a value that we all honor, like a harvest. You don't have harvest in nature. Every year is the greatest harvest. There's harvest where 5 years, nothing. But because nature doesn't get out of balance so much for money or for anything, it can handle it. And everybody is not humble, but everybody is, I would say, sustainable, and live a sustainable life. It's enough, the enough-ness. And it's completely missing. The word enough-ness is completely missing. When they tried it in Europe, they tried degrowth. It's called degrowth, where they say we accept in the national gross product, GDP, we accept that there's not be a growth. And nobody wants to even talk about it. Because the system cannot, that the energy of systems needs to always grow until we change them collectively and say, no, that's it. It's too much.
So that's what you're talking about, the paradox of the system. And
Yep.
what I hear, it's the financial system. It's
Yep.
our the way we go and do our jobs.
Yep.
So how, you said, first of all, it's awareness, and then deciding what's important to you, like, really taking inventory.
What you're living. Because I
what you're
can be
living.
a very system relevant person. Let's say I'm a politician, everything works good, I'm the prime candidate, I make money, whatever. And I can say, so I have everything systemly here, meaning also how politics works. And I say politics because I was a politician and also a political consultant. So I've sniffed into that realm. So what happens is you have that choice. And if you can say, okay, I hate what's going on in the world, and actually I know there's no human that likes to do shenanigans, especially a politician. I know that for sure. Nobody wants to do shenanigans. But if you have a family, so you make human-centric decisions and do shenanigans in things because that's closest to you, your family. And you need to have that, and you need to pretend this and this. It's the hardest job there is, politician, because you actually should be in the middle between humans and systems, and you should represent humans so that they can implement in systems, and the system can actually work for the humans.
Mm-hmm.
You should be that balancing sheet, and it's so hard.
Yeah, and it's like I was going to ask you how you keep alignment with that, and well, maybe we could make it. Just come here with me. If we were going to make our households aligned,
Yeah,
and we say, okay, you do self-reflection, you do inventory for a week of what your family does, and you're like, well, at dinner, my kids have their phones out. We haven't cooked together. We're picking up takeout. We're having other people cook for us.
everybody does that. That's just,
Right. So you take inventory and you're like, well, we sit and we watch this electronic box and we get fed information, and some of it doesn't make me feel good. And if you go through your routines for a week and really reflect, I think that's where change can really happen, because you have your household.
Great idea. Yeah.
So if you teach your kids to be aware of what's coming in and say, you know what, this show made me feel creepy. Do you guys want to play a game tomorrow night? You want to learn a new card game? You want to, could we work on a garden, do an herb garden so we can add fresh herbs to our food? And that way we're excited about cooking dinner and we don't have to eat the fatty stuff, because, my pants are getting tight. And how's your energy level?
It's not the fatty stuff. It's the crap that they
put. Yeah. And,
it's systemic too. The systemic is our air, we are part of nature. So what we can only protect is us, not nature, us, by not polluting this part of nature, like air, water, foods, to sustain us and generations,
sustainable. Like there's a pretty earth.
See the Grand Canyon like we did see the Grand Canyon. That's what I'm saying. So I think your idea is don't go away from your idea, because your idea is good. And what I would do before that, because I think you don't even have to say the execution then, I felt bad or whatever. If you say, whatever you do, everything you do today or experience today, put in two categories. Is this human-centric? And then good, or is that system relevant? And does it upset? Because I always say, when I'm upset, in my coaching or in my advising, I say, what do you feel? I feel, and this is the saddest thing ever. This is where I really woke up. When I see mothers that have sick children feel guilty that they can't go to work. That is the epitome. That's the epitome of system-relevant condition that is so inhumane, like there's nothing more inhumane than a mother that feels guilty, because that guilt the kid gets. That kid gets basically you're conditioning the kid, you are less worthy than a system. My system is so much more worthy, and forget yourself, forget your kids. Just try to be system relevant. And I think there's so much in there. If I go, the deeper I get in there, the more horrible it gets,
Oh, yeah, because you look at these people who do mass shootings and you're like, what happened in that family? Like, how did they get access to these things? And this person didn't wake up a serial killer. It's part of our group consciousness that they've been ignored and mistreated, and they were bullied, and they were, they got lost. And I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying this is a symptom of a pathology. And
We have to admit it. We have to admit that's what we do.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we can't say, oh, that person over there. We got to be like, no, this was, if that was my neighbor, how did I miss it? Like, what can we do? It's like taking responsibility.
It's not even, yeah, responsibility is just respond to something. It's not to have a
Mm-hmm.
burden. We detangle responsibility too, because systemically it's a burden. Humanly, it's, I see you in a burned house, I run in and get you out. There's a difference. There's
Mm-hmm.
not like it's a burden. I'm gonna not going in this. I see this the kid drawing. Oh, I'm gonna leave it in there. No. It's something. Response is the ability to respond. And that is not a burden.
Mm-hmm.
That is a challenge. That's thing, and you feel good when you save that kid, when you help that dog, when you help the thing. You feel good. But if you do it
Yeah.
to be systemically looking good, that doesn't work. That doesn't work.
No. Yeah, and it's like that feeling you get when you help somebody. You can't reproduce it. AI can't produce it.
No, it's
Nobody
fulfillment.
can.
It's fulfillment because you experience the oneness of all. It's not even that you are so great and you help this person. It is you experience with another person how important is that we are one and how important is to help each other out. It's the importance of the natural importance. See how I even look at that in system relevance and system relevance and the human-centric
Yes.
centricity. Yeah.
Centricity. So, I mean, if people listening, if this is sparking anything in you, you can try to identify in your life when you're acting within the system or
Yeah.
you're acting human centric.
Yeah.
And like you said, there's an alignment, there's a sweet spot, but the whole idea that we're based on profit and production has veered us so far off that people need to make the change because the system's not going to change itself. The system was created by us and it's supposed to be for us. So you have to decide, and it starts with your actions. It starts with yours. So I love that you've given us this canvas to say, okay, this is what's going on. This is where I am. Because until you have the word for it, because it's like you said, we're in a fish tank. And once you're surrounded by something, you don't realize it's surrounding you because it's always there. You can't get a bird's eye view of something you're surrounded in. We've been born into these systems. We've been born into the economic system and the idea that, if you need a car, you take on a debt. You take a loan. But when you go buy a car now, I notice they don't say, here's your car loan. They say, oh, it's your payment. It's just you're just making your payment. And if you come with cash, they get upset because the system says you got to have a loan and a payment.
Yeah, because that's more powerful. That's more, they also don't want you to pay cash in anything because the longer I connect, see, this is the false connection. The connection in debt, is what we human have, natural connection. But, we are like animals. We meet each other, all the girls meet or all the guys meet. And they what we're doing in the 20 minutes, we're just joking around, before we even have dinner. That's, we love to play. There's a lot of wisdom in play. We love to think, and it's not in the system thing. And why we always point fingers is because, sadly, the lack that I told you activates human-centrically shame.
Shame and fear. That's a fear of lack of abundance, a fear that you're not going to be taken care of. It's shame.
If I say you're not worthy, which is completely against nature. See, it wouldn't, if it was just systemically, you just say, no, I am worthy because I'm this. No, if I'm saying you are not worthy, you are not worth anything. What happens is in you is you think you're flawed, which you also know unconsciously is not true. But you seeing this, your eyes are the most discerning things. So you're seeing, I'm treated bad by other. I am treated like I'm an outcast. I mean, I couldn't fit in school. I mean, I've worked with shame my whole life. And the opposite of shame is self-acceptance, which means you are normal, Thea. You're being normal, you know? And and this is the problem with like does. When you owe me and you can't pay back, when you are not to standards where I want to generalize people so that I save money. It's all on the lack. It's everything. I want to, if I can put you in a box and say you're a woman, it's cheaper for me as the system. If I say, yeah, but then let's say you say, I'm a gay woman. Already I'm shaking. Then you say, I'm a gay woman that wants kids. The system is already, if I just have it, as long as I have you in a box and says a woman is systemically created, everything is fine. But if you're neurodiverse like me, look, the system doesn't have anything. It doesn't have anything from. I went to Social Security, I think, and they said to me, "Oh, just keep working till you retire, and then we tell you what you're getting." Because I said, "What I would I mean that I make future plans, which I don't do anymore." But I said, "I just want to know what I'm gonna get." And they said, "No, don't worry. I can't help you. You just wait till you think, and then we give you what is left over, basically." That's why I'm saying the retirement stuff is the biggest problem, and people are completely. And this woman wanted to help me. It wasn't. It's the system demanded her to be that way. See, the system. If you want to live and you want to have a job, you act inhumane to your job to serve humans because you are the system to serve humans.
Right.
When you go to a doctor, the doctor has to test you and everything and goes through rigmarole. He could have just said, okay, take this. This is an issue of efficiency, or I have this pill for you, or whatever. He has to go through the whole gamut and activates all your possibilities of being sick. I mean, this is so inhumane. Then you have to repeat. Once you're in that system, you never get out. I mean, I was always in the hospitals and everything. Nobody helped me. Everybody just tried around because they want to survive.
Right.
I
They make more money.
myself.
It's all about gross revenue. Well, I love.
Everybody's feeling it. Everybody's like Elon, Jeff Bezos, and all the Biden. They're all in lack. And they're reacting to lack, not acting and saying, we got to get out of this. We got to change this. It's not going to work anymore. We have to collectively say, this doesn't work anymore. I'm not against systems. I'm for systems. But the systems have to become what we initially created them for. Systems are not why we created, not the reason how we created them for. It's not anymore. We created system when the tribe became too big. We had to create systems where something works for health, something works for law, something for tribal issues. We had to create these systems, but they're not that anymore. They're not that.
Right. And it's the transparency. Like if you're going to participate in that system, to me, there needs to be complete transparency, and we don't have that accountability in the systems that run our country.
We have it, but you circumvent because people get inventive to circumvent it. When they say, you have the choice. You have the choice to be transparent, or you have the choice to do a lot of work, which both suck you dry. So you cannot be transparent in a system, because if you're transparent, you cannot be in that position. If you are, like, look at COVID, that was the thing. When people that were transparent were shut up. Who's going to trust that anymore? Trust is everything. Life is uncertain. If we take trust out of people, it's mayhem. If we can trust each other, and I say, the more you be with humans, the more you know you're safe, because not on texting, but if you interact with humans, good or bad, you trust, and you become your tool of being with other humans, and seeing humans as humans, not as a race, as a gender, or sexuality, or politics, the political things. You see human as human, and you say, that's my family. If I like it, I don't have to hug it. I don't have to go out with it. It's just that's it. And they have a point. And see, I always say to me, they have a purpose that I don't know, because I don't have the wisdom of nature. And so I don't know that purpose. They say, oh, mass shooting. Horrible. I know it's a system symptom, and system doesn't want it. It says it's the shooter, it's the mother, it's always blame. The thing is, when you don't get sick, which I have experienced on myself, then it's my fault. See, when you do everything system according to systems, and you're not successful, what do systems say? It's your fault.
It's your fault.
Because you know how and then comes the shaming. Julie, everybody that came depressed to us, and we sold him a Ferrari, or we sold him a pill, or we sold him a face job, was happy. I have statistic in other system that 90% got happy when they got these three things. And you are not getting happy. Try this. Then you buy a Lamborghini, and you do a workout show or whatever. And then you come back and says, it was great. Half a year was great, but I'm still at the same point. Then they said, sorry, there's something wrong. Like with me. Sorry, we couldn't educate you anymore. They put you in a loony bin. It's just getting rid of the system. Needs to be super efficient to get rid of people that they can't help.
Yeah, the outliers are ostracized, ignored, or eliminated. So yeah. Well, I can tell that you've spent a lot of time thinking about this, and I think it's really something for everyone to consider when you're feeding the system or you're feeding the human collective. And nature. And then you'll find that there's abundance. Like weeds and plants grow everywhere. So you don't have to worry about going hungry. You just need to learn how to take advantage of plants around you, or how to grow some things. And it's not difficult. And if you ever have a little chance to plant something that you can eat, it's very rewarding.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And it's crazy how, you'll talk to people who are very tied to the system, and you'll talk about, compost. And that's unsanitary, but we can have smog coming through our lungs, and that's okay.
We need about a credit card of plastic a month. So that,
yeah. So it's just seeing those inconsistencies is a huge way to break away and know that your individual light is a very powerful thing and is needed. It's very needed.
There's a reason why you're alive. Nature doesn't make a mistake. I tell this to suicidal things. When you're suicidal, I said, there is no thing. You just haven't figured out what you're human. See, if you look for your uniqueness and for the one of one that you are in systems, you're not going to find it. You're not going to find it. If I would have relied on systems giving me finding who I am, I could have never figured it out, because I was always the weakling, the ugly duckling, the one that is. And I know it's nothing to do with truth. So you gotta look. First of all, nature doesn't make mistakes that you're alive. And the second thing is you just haven't found your puzzle piece that you are in human-centric context. Once you find that in human-centric context, then it's very easy to see. This is what I work on education too. So this is what I with the kids. I think before they go into before they go to school, I think first and second grade, what I would teach them is what it means to be a human being, being the collaborative creator animal of nature. And I would show him in two ways. I would show him the kids in team sports and team art and tending for an animal. Tending for an animal, because a language is a system itself. We have talked before. You just change the word and all of a sudden it's different. It's a manipulative tool. you can't manipulate it, and I mean, you can just lure it in and then catch it or something. But in order to have a pet and pet it and have a relationship, you gotta connect with your six senses and communicate with that non-verbally. And if it's perfect, it's like, when you have a pet, a dog or something, it's perfect. You don't need a word. You don't need a word. It's like, oh, if you can understand me, you never say that. Everything is clear. He comes to you, he wags with the tail, and you are happy and fulfilled. And then a third about the awareness that you had. So sports people have to do theater. Theater have to do sports. And if you're not an athlete, you just be the referee. It doesn't matter. It's the collective working on something. On the masculine is the sports, the feminine is the art. Because in art, yeah. But it's funny, in art, it's not a goal. In art is the performance, the whole thing. So a conductor cannot say, oh, the flutist is good or bad or whatever. He has to bring all of them up. That's what humans, that's the feminine energy. We are all good, nurturing everybody up. And in sports is a little different, but it's also nurturing, because if you put down the sports athletes, they're not good. There's only some that push through that, like me, that they have a spirit like me that pushes through, that doesn't give up, So, but that in the education, when you learn first what it is to be a human, and find a little bit of that puzzle piece that you are, the unique one. And if I can give kids that, they never forget that. They never forget that when you once heard what I said. It's not me. It came through me, but it's not, a lot of people say it anyway, so it's not exclusive. But when you get a human being to see, oh my God, I'm one of one. It's not like you are one of 8 billion. I can exchange you like a cog in a wheel. This is the system perception of humans. This is horrible. And when you ever worked in hospitality, that if one person is, or in any team where you have a team, you exchange that one person and change the whole dynamic of the team. That shows you the importance of your individuality or one of oneness. And if that doesn't give you enough self-worth, I don't know what does, because you're one of one. And nature doesn't make a mistake. You can't say, no, nature, I'm worthless. I'm not. I think I need to kill myself. No. There's no discussion with that, because if that was the case, all the animals would kill themselves, or a lot more animals would be dead because they kill themselves, and they don't.
Yeah, so to connect with nature, we can get back to our human-centricness. And I heard you say play with art, play in sports. And, if you're feeling stuck by the system, you're feeling that lack, get out, unplug, and go to more of these human-centric things, like Michaell just suggested. And I adore.
Have
friends, laugh, play games.
Do charity work. Be in communities. Go to religions events. I'm not a fan of religion, but their religions do a lot of good socially. So be in social, in not online, and go there somewhere between you. If you want to be in, let's say we talk about food, right? If there's a garden center that teaches food, go there. You can do a lot of events to meet people. It's just because you learn so much. I mean, when you listen to this, you think, oh, I'm talking, and I listen to more than this podcast of mine. You will see that when I guest, I totally talk about something different. This is unique to this. And if I say, Julie, let's just repeat this podcast, we can never repeat it. It's one of one. And it's two one-of-one people that create an event, a meeting that is created one-of-one. You cannot do this. I mean, there's no much more power. If you want to talk about power, that is power.
And I do not take it lightly. If people let my voice be in their ears, I am just so humbled and so honored. And thank you. We're coming up on our time, Michaell. I
No,
promised we can
in
get it.
systems, that doesn't count. In system only counts copying. So I'm
Mhm.
working since 4 o'clock on a human-centric view of AI, because I think we cannot give our to get system relevance. We use AI and then be completely hooked into that system. I'm not against AI. I love all the technology, but I use it as a tool. And
Mhm.
and it's insane what's going on. So I have, when you connect to me, I have a LinkedIn account. Go and see my articles there about
Mhm.
technology, and a lot. I mean, I think about 50 articles about human centricity, and so if you need more education other than, I think this episode is very good. But if you need more, you just look there or connect to me or ask me a question.
Yes, yes. I adore that. It's always good if something sparks your interest to go and just get a little more, because it's not a coincidence. These are synchronicities. These are
Yep,
signs from your faucet.
exactly.
So, oh my goodness, this has been such a joy. And I did want to talk about AI, so I'm glad that we peppered that in. And
Next
I'm
time, really. Next time.
next time.
Systemically hype it really good. The next time you want to know how to survive with AI, should plug in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all about awareness. Know when you're plugging in, and then
Yeah.
be able to unplug and play in your humanity. I think that AI's freed me up with a lot of a lot of things that I need to do, and I've noticed that I'm able to play more if I use it as a tool. So
But
I
it
appreciate.
catches up. Every technology catches up. So I leave that as my last wisdom. When we
Hmm.
got the computer and the cell phone, we have now 8 times as much output that we had before the computer and the cell phone. So every human creates 8 times more system work. Have you gotten 8 times more system money? Have you gotten 8 times more system time? That was promised. Don't forget, that was promised. What are you going to do when you have a computer and a cell phone? What are you going to do? What are you going to do with all your time and the money that you spend? We do. That's proven that you can system. It's a statistic. 8 times as much, and 8 times is good because AI is going to make us also better. And at the same time, it takes the jobs from the people that do right now that you know
Hmm.
which I'm not too worried about it, because the system job is always distracting you anyway from your centricity.
Hmm.
But everything becomes cheaper. Human labor becomes cheaper. Who should buy? First of all, who has the time for all the products, and who uh, uh, should pay? Even if it gets cheaper, somebody has to pay. See,
Hmm.
it's not working
Yeah.
again. Not enough. It works. It doesn't work.
Yep. So you have to go from your heart, and you got to
Yeah.
live your life of love, because when it comes down to it, your fulfillment is based on that connection and that feeling of being worthy and shining your light, and starts with your
Get you
self-love.
into love. Love is a feedback loop that you're on the right
Hmm.
path.
But you're,
So,
yep. Oh,
fulfillment, happiness, love.
fulfillment, happiness, love.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a fulfillment. It's a emotions are not that person. I love that person. No, that person puts you in an energy where you feel the love.
Right.
It's not, because that's, otherwise it would be, if the other person was the others, then it would be reciprocal, and it's sometimes not reciprocal. You know that. So that other
Hmm.
person can bring you in the resonance of love, but that doesn't mean that that's reciprocal. That you do that to him too, or her. You know.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's a feedback
Oh,
loop for you, though, to be human centrically. So chase fulfillment to stay human centric.
words of wisdom. Michael, I just appreciate your time and your energy so much. And I knew we were going to create something wonderful. So I can't wait to share this.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.